Hey y'all, it's Amanda with Tap Mom and the Baby Brigade. I'm sitting in my normal spot, um, across the room from my normal filming spot, and so it's not exactly neat and tidy. But I had someone request a Loom knit video, so I'm probably gonna have to do this in parts because it's not easy to do. But since we got this lovely fuzzy stuff in today, this is the Mayflower Sweet. I'm going to be pairing it with the Premier Basics Mosaic and the colorway Bouquet. So as you can see, this pairs up nicely. It very pairs up nicely. So what I'll do, and here's my 40, I think this is a 41 peg loom. Yeah, this is a 41 peg loom. It's an adult size hat. So what I'll do is I'll use 2 strands of the Mosaic because I have 2 skeins here. So I'm just going to pull from 2 skeins at the same time, and I'll do the brim and just the Mosaic pink. And then and when I do the brim, I'll do like a ribbed brim, which means I'm gonna knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, back and forth all the way around the loom until I get a nice. Because the way that I'd like to do these hats and the way I plan on doing this hat is I'm gonna do a nice wide brim about like that. And then I'll just do a regular knit hat the rest of the way. And it'll be a really cute little hat because what I'm going to do is just do this for the brim. And then when I get finished with the brim, I'll add in this with that. And that'll make the top part of the hat with that extra little, fluffy pizzazz. So, without further ado, what we're going to do is I'm going to just pull both of these out. And see, this has got a frayed end on it, so I'm going to reach over here to my bucket. I like to have nice ends on my yarn when I start, so I'm just going to snip that end off like that. And I got a bucket over there that keeps all my little junk in, meaning my scissors. And so I like to keep these even. I like to keep the ends even. And so I'm just going to create myself a little slip knot like so. And my loom has a anchor peg right here. And so what you do is you put this little slip knot over this anchor peg and you just tighten it down like that. And then you cast on. And so you put this little thing right there. And then I'm real simple with it. When I cast on, I just do what they call an E-wrap. They call it an E-wrap because you're doing it in the shape of an E. So I just do a regular E-wrap cast on, and meaning I'm going to go around here to all these pegs. And what I do is I wrap it with one hand, and I kind of hold it in place with my other hand so that it doesn't unravel before I can get to the other end. So as I'm going, I just kind of hold that previously wrapped peg. That way it doesn't come unraveled on me. Because in the beginning, when I first started doing this, a little over a year and a half or so ago, I made all sorts of mistakes. And there are all sorts of tutorials for looming. And everybody's got their own way of doing it. And LumaHat.com, her YouTube channel, was my saving grace, and I learned so much from her. And in the event that I need to learn anything new with the looms, her tutorials will be the first I go to. Okay, so here I am. I'm back to the anchor peg once again. Okay, so in order to get my cast on done correctly, I got to go around one more again, and so I'm going to put a second loop on each peg. So we're not doing the ribbon yet. This is just our cast on. And I'll probably end up having to do this video in 2 parts, because these hats do take a while to do. And I'm really looking forward to the results with this hat. I think it's going to be very beautiful. I just happened to have a brand, one of those ideas pop in your head. I was in my room, and I was walking through my room, and I realized that this yarn had not been put up yet. And I just, and I said, wow, that yarn would look good with this yarn. And then, of course, I seen the comment that asked me to do a loom video. And I said, well, why not pair these two together? And that would make a perfect hat. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this with my thumb, right, just like that. Now, everybody's got their own technique. This is mine. And this is a loom pick. And all looms that you purchase, plastic looms like this one was bought off of Amazon. I have some that I bought at Hobby Lobby, but it's kind of wore out. When you do 40 hats for Hat Not Hate in about a month's time, you can wear out a loom. This one has a nice slick texture to it, so the yarn just kind of glides off of it. So this one I hadn't, I think I bought this late last year, maybe December, maybe the beginning of this year. I don't remember. But anyway, and of course I put the yarn, I wrapped it too tight because it's been a minute since I did one of these. But that's all right. Once you get the first one, and so what you're going to do is you're going to take that bottom, and you can see how I did. I don't know if y'all could see that or not. It's probably too bright in here. Let's focus there. But I take the bottom loops that I put on the first round, and I just grab them, because right here at the front of your loom, there's this little ridge right there at your pegs. Now these pegs are not removable on this loom. Some looms they have removable pegs. This is not one of them. But you take this one and you just loop it over. You take it and you loop it over. This is just a simple knit, and then I just kind of push them down just a wee bit. And so I'm going to go around now my loom like that until I get back around the other side. You don't want to push them around too far, because you're going to go behind yourself and do the knit and purl for your ribbed brim. But this is just your cast on. And I probably did this a little too snug, but that's okay, because that's for some reason I'm always snug with the looms, but yet I'm a loose crocheter. Go figure, right? I can get tighter on these than I can crochet. But let's see here. Alright, I'm almost back around. There's 41 pegs in this thing, so it do take a minute. Alrighty. And be careful when you do it, when you're grabbing your yarn with this hook, because it will split your yarn if you're not careful. Alright. Bear with me, got to drink. Alright. Now I have this loom marked for pardon me, I'm experimenting with my camera a little bit, aka my phone. But I have this loom marked with every other peg for ribbing. So I know that this mark is for a knit stitch, this one is for purl, and this one knit, and that one, because every other peg is marked, and the one that's not marked is my purl. So what I mean by that, because I'm going to just do a simple knit stitch with this one, because I know this one's my marked one. And when you do a purl, you bring your yarn down here, you grab it with you grab it with your pick, you pull your yarn under it, You grab up a loop like so. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but you grab up a loop underneath it. You pull it up and off the peg, and then you put the new loop back on. There is your pearl. And then you come back around, and your next peg, you wrap it, you flip it over, there's your knit. Now you know your next one is your pearl. And you're going to do like as many of this particular pattern as possible. So this is a knit because it's marked. This one is not, so it's a pearl. And now each to their own if you want to mark your loom or not. This is what helped me learn. And I used a plain old Sharpie marker and marked my loom. And that's what stayed on here. It does fade and rub off occasionally, and I'll remark it and let it dry for a bit, and then and then use it again. But it's pretty faded on here. The markings that I have on here is pretty faded, but I can still see it. I may have to turn the light on in a minute. I'm losing daylight, but so you get what I mean here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this a whole round here so y'all can see. But and what people go wrong with the loom knit is they get what's known as laddering, meaning is that you get it where you have a noticeable seam, or you just somehow you drop stitches or you miss stitches. But that's where you start and begin. You start and end where that anchor peg is. That anchor peg is your beginning and your end, as far as where you started and where you end at when you're going around, working in the round like this. If you remember that you started and you ended with the anchor peg, then the chances of laddering and missing stitches is less. But you just got to remember that you started where the anchor peg is. If you remember that, and you just take your time, don't rush yourself, because this is not life or death. This is loom knitting. There's no reason to rush yourself. Nobody's going to die if you don't get the hat done on time. So just take your time about it. Now you will pick up speed as you get more confident in doing this. Now the reason why I'm using 2 strands is because this is a large gauge loom. I do have some smaller gauge looms, but I don't like them as much as I like this one. But they are, because the teeth on them, I say teeth, I mean pegs. They are very tiny, and it's very I mean, this is fairly tedious, but I don't mind this one. But the smaller gauge loom is hard for my little fat fingers. Let me just put it plainly. It's difficult for my fat fingers. The real upside for the smaller gauge loom is that it really, really looks like it was needle knitted. I mean, it really does. It looks like the genuine article, like it was needle knitted. It looks really good. You get really smaller, tighter stitches, and it does look good. I think I have one hat somewhere that I did on it, and the rest were boo-boos. I just don't have a whole lot of patience. That's before I got my disability, and my mental stability was not what I'd like to have been. Now on this 41 peg loom, your last 2 stitches are going to be knit. That is okay, because it's an odd number. Now once you get around your first row of your brim, you can just reach down here to this anchor peg and pull this little knot off and let it go. You no longer need that to be there, because the longer you leave it, it will pull your project the wrong direction. It won't flow through the middle. And as you see, because I put that on the facing the inside, it'll be inside. So, and I could just take my little knot out of there, and there we go. And you could just tuck in your ends at the end of things. And that you just like with crochet, you just use your I have a little plastic thing here. I just weave in my ends with that. Works just fine. I do actually use some fabric glue, especially on hats. This is what I got this. This was a tip from Tiffany Hansen. She uses this stuff, and so I bought this off of Amazon. And you just barely put any on the knot, and just a teeny little drop, and then rub it in, and it still is soft. It doesn't get hard, but that once it's dry, that's not going anywhere. I promise you, it's not going anywhere. So now that's our first row of the brim. I'm going to continue to do this, and I will come back with video number 2 when I've got the brim completed, and when we go to add this mohair-esque yarn. I don't really know any other way to put what type of yarn this is. As you can see, it's very fuzzy, and it's very reminiscent of mohair. So it's the alternative to mohair for folks that are allergic. It is from Hobie, and if you hadn't watched my video from earlier, this is this yarn, and the yarn I'm pairing it with is Premier Basic Mosaic. So I will end this particular video here, and I will get the brim worked out, and then I'll come back and we'll add this in for the rest of the hat, and this will probably be a 3-part tutorial. I hope this works out. I love y'all. Bye.